thank you, first of all, everyone, for waiting for the next Warrior Women in Business podcast episode. It's been a few weeks. For those of you that watched the last one, it was pretty tremendous. That's the first time I've ever had a person sing on the podcast. So she was pretty amazing. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Warrior Women in Business, Warrior Women in Business is a division of JS Media. We really help women. Our intention is to help women grow. So we are a branding and marketing agency that provides consultancy to female entrepreneurs, female artists, which I have a passion around, and female executives, really helping them to catapult their careers. My name is Jasmine Sandler. I'm the founder and CEO of JS Media and Warrior Women in Business. And I'm really excited for today's podcast guest, episode 39. Gayle Dillman, CEO of Gable Music Ventures and the creator of the LadyBug Music Festival. So say hello, Gayle, to the audience.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think this is going to be a great episode. As a fellow musician myself, I'm very involved with women, female musicians and women in the music industry. And they all really need help, and it's all about collaborating and coming together and providing opportunities. We're going to talk about that today, career opportunities, opportunities to work together, best practices. Gayle's going to share her story. So before we get started, a couple of things I need to mention. First of all, I am so excited to have our first official Warrior Women in Business podcast guest, a podcast sponsor rather, MXL Microphones, who I met because I was a speaker at NAMM, for those of you that are familiar with the largest music business industry conference this past April in Anaheim. And I spoke with MXL about the fact that women in music need help. And we at Warrior Women in Business host events, and they said, why don't we provide you with some equipment and really start to help? And as you guys move forward, if you need our support in events, we'll be there for you. So I'm very, very thankful for the equipment. I'm wearing the new headphones today. I have the mic here that's amazing, and it's very much high quality and made in America, so it makes me happy. Anyway, so want to thank MXL for sponsoring the episode today. So without further ado, I want to get right into the podcast. Today is a shortened version. We're moving forward with what we call 30-minute intensives with female leaders. Stay tuned to the end of the podcast, where I'll be announcing some upcoming programs at Warrior Women in Business. So, Gayle, the first question that I have for you is, you've really done a great job of helping women, not only women in the music industry, but I think concert goers understand, from my perspective, looking at what you do, understand the importance of women in music. So can you talk about, where does this support come from with you, and what does it mean to
you? Thank you for asking. That's a really good question. When I started out in this business, I quickly realized that there weren't a lot of women doing what I was doing. And when you realize that, and you realize that you are walking into, a heavily dominated male environment with lots of minefields all over the place. And I realized that, it would have been nice to have some mentors along the way. It would have been nice to have somebody to, help me navigate those waters, because I did make a lot of mistakes in the beginning, a lot of trials, and they didn't work, or they did work, as in the LadyBug Festival. But it would have been really beneficial to have some assistance along the way. So I kind of took that and started running with that. And that's part of why LadyBug Festival has continued to be able to give support and to teach people that you're not alone, that we can do this, and together, if we align ourselves, we are stronger together, and we can navigate those waters.
Yeah, no, I really agree with you. There's a woman that's on the next podcast I may mention later, who does something similar in London, and we're having this conversation about the fact that women say that they support each other, but a lot of times we female leaders like us run into competition. And how do we navigate that when we already have that stumbling block of men, right, which you mentioned? So I love what you're doing. It takes, I think, bravery at every corner, right? It
Well,
really does.
it does. And, you're right. Sometimes, you run into people, not necessarily women, but of course there are women included in that,
Yeah.
that are not there to, help you with your success. And you need to learn how to answer to that. You need to learn how to think it through, to not be impulsive, to count to 3 in your brain before you say anything, and
Hmm.
to not be afraid to say, I need some time to think about that and let me get back to you on that. And keep your power, keep your control.
Wow, Gail, that honestly, it's so profound because a lot of the women that we work with at my agency, we help them. And I feel like almost all of them have this common thread where they get in their own way.
Oh, absolutely.
And they get in their own way because they don't take the pause. And a lot of times when I'm on the phone with them, I'll pause intentionally to see how they react. Because when you're thinking too much and you're too much in it, it's very hard for you to, like you said, step back and make the right statement. I love that you said that.
Yeah. I can't tell you. I wish I had $1 for every time I needed to have counted to 3 or 5 and just take a pause and realize that when you tell someone that you need to think about that before you answer, that's not giving up power. That's actually taking it back and staying in control. So you don't say anything that's inappropriate or not, or isn't really answering the question or the issue that's in front of you. And it's okay to do that. And, we just don't teach those strategies enough to women or even men for that matter.
I think that we don't.
Yeah.
And especially now, I feel like in the business environment today, everybody's in such a hurry to get things done. And that's an issue because that's why I was so excited with this MXL sponsor, because I got everything and it was like the highest quality product. And that's what I look for, and I think like women as they're moving forward in their careers and in businesses need to think quality and not speed. A lot of times that speed hurts them. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's an issue.
It really does. And kudos to you for finding a company that aligns with what you're doing and as that quality, because it is important to think about quality and take time. There's nothing wrong with taking some time. It's better to, give yourself that extra time to think things through and really curate an answer or an approach before you just go, okay, yeah, let me do this. I mean, I've done that approach too. And I can tell you sometimes it doesn't really work.
Yeah. And, that leads into the self-care, right? Women really need, because we're doing a billion things, and the self-care, a lot of that self-care, right, is actually taking the time and slowing down.
Slow your roll. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Your roll. Okay.
Yep.
So, I mean, you kind of answered it, but is there anything that really kind of like inspired you, I would say, to focus directly on music? Because, it's not an easy industry. Financially, it's a hard industry.
No, it's yeah. And there's no money in it.
Right. That's what I meant in a very polite way.
Yes. So my journey really came at a point in my life, and I did a TED talk on this, which wasn't very good, so I shouldn't even mention it because
still kudos.
But yeah, it was really, that's talk about. Wish I could go back and do that again. So I was at a crossroads in my life, and my marriage was ending, my kids were moving out of the house, and I really needed to redefine myself. And it became very apparent to me that music, which was always something I loved. I loved. Always went to concerts. I was going to concerts since I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
My first one was America. I went to go see America.
Wow.
Wow. So, cool. So I needed to go back to what really resonates with me. Where can I put my energy and my passion? And through a series of events, which is way too long to go into here, it made sense to start this business. And I did have a business partner at the beginning, and start this business to really showcase on emerging artists and original music, because nobody was doing that. And there's a good reason why no one was doing that, because there's no money to make it.
Believe me, I know.
Yeah. So, but it was important to, if I was going to change my life and change my career, then and reinvent myself, I wanted to do it with something I was passionate about. And I love music, and I love the creation of music. And that's a little different as well. We all love going to big concerts and hearing the songs that we play over and over on our Spotify list or whatever. And I'm one of those. But it's really cool to encourage people, and now specifically women, to create music and to enter into the music industry.
Yeah.
That's the very abbreviated, how did I get to do what I'm doing? It's called reinvention. It's called, grasping your fears and running with them, and not letting them hold you back, but push you forward.
Yeah.
And,
I
yeah.
love it. I mean, that's the decision point, right? So the decision point I find with that reinvention, transition, change with women is really about, I love your story because you're, because it's not risk averse, but it also is well thought out. That's what I'm hearing from you. And that's what I think makes a good decision from someone that really wants to do what they're passionate about and do what they love, but believes in themselves, right? Because otherwise you can't do it.
Well, exactly. But I would say it was thought out in the beginning, but the mark of a true entrepreneur is that you need to recognize when it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And what you need to do to change it, and how you modify your business or your approach to it or yourself in order to find a different level of success. So where I started with this business and where I am today are very different places.
Yeah.
So,
well,
but still music.
No, but tell us about that just briefly, if you don't mind, where you started and how you got here today.
So when we started doing little pop-up shows in downtown Wilmington, where we would charge just a minimal amount of money. We'd have a couple bands play, and pretty much we'd have about 3 people show up, and I would go in the bathroom and cry and say, what am I doing? And then, we managed to put together a lineup, and there are a number of factors that helped with a level of success that started to come our way. Simultaneously, we were offered an opportunity to put together a block party, because we were bringing music to Lower Market Street. And so Mike Schwartz and Debbie Schwartz offered us a little bit of money, say, hey, throw this party for us, which happened to coincide with the original Firefly in 2012.
Okay.
And that's kind of how LadyBug was born.
Oh.
Yeah. So we wanted to do an event, and we said, oh, let's do it around, Firefly time, and everybody will come into Wilmington the day before.
Perfect idea.
Right. And let's name it a bug. And I said, well, and let's make it all about women, LadyBug. So it was just a series of things that came together, and here we are. And so, yeah, I had to change. Where we started doing these kinds of small shows, now to be able to do festivals that bring in thousands of people is, it's pretty different, but it's still in the same vein of creating platforms for emerging artists or established artists to be heard. And specifically, this is for women, to show that in the industry, women can put on a festival, we can run it, we can make it successful, and people do want to see that. And it's a safe space for women to come and perform.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
It's so hard. I mean, I see it here in New York. As a musician, I see, and the bands, I'm always like trying to help them, because it's difficult. And especially as a female musician. And, unfortunately, you get labeled, right, into certain categories, and there's all of that. And to grow it and make it meaningful, make it credible, and make it something that's in demand is not an easy feat,
It's not. And additionally, I would add, and learning how to protect yourself as well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a whole thing onto itself, is protecting your name, because I look at every artist that plays for me, every artist that I book, they're each a small business.
That's right.
And as a small business, you need to protect yourself.
That's right.
Make sure your music is protected, copyrighted.
That's
your
right.
logo, your image, your name, all of that stuff. I mean, we could talk for hours.
Oh yeah, I have a separate webinar where I work with the copyright office. Yes. It was like 2 hours. Yes. And I told them I want to keep going, because and then yesterday I had a meeting with someone in London who is pretty big in the music industry, and we talked about the difference between collecting royalties there versus here. There's so much an artist needs to know about, like you said, protecting.
So much, and it's changing as the web and the internet, everything continues to change. People put their stuff out on YouTube, or they put it on Facebook, or they put it on Instagram. They put their song out there. If they don't have their
It better
information
be
embedded,
protected.
it better be protected
It better be
because
protected.
it can go
Yeah,
anywhere. People can
that's right.
steal it. And I'm not saying everybody's, out to get you or something like that, but it's just, if you want to bring your music forward, if you want a music supervisor to listen to it to be considered for a movie or a TV show or a commercial or anything like that, you got to have your name, you got to have your stuff embedded in it and understand that, this is your responsibility. It's not their responsibility to go find you. It's your responsibility that you make sure that they know who is singing that song.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a whole course on that, so I'm not going to talk about. Let's
Yeah,
move
all right.
on.
Yeah.
Let's move on to your stuff because there's
Okay.
so much that we want to learn from you. So, so your current programs, right? How can women get involved? How do they support women? If somebody's interested in being involved with Ladybug Music Festival? What is it all about, and how can they get involved?
Well, the Wilmington event is next week. It's June 2nd. So that one is completely filled and booked. We are looking for artist submission for the Milford Ladybug, which will be September 30th. So if you go to my website, theladybugfestival.com, there's a way to submit to be considered for that event. Once you get into that, then there are other things that we'll be looking for. We're looking to book other things, and we go into our pool of women and other musicians as well. It's not only women that we look at and book. So that is one way, is to follow what we're doing. We have a newsletter, which we don't send out that often, but to sign up for that so you know what the latest things are. We are looking to expand Ladybug, so we're looking for a third location right now. So when and if we get that will be another process to submit for it. And I want to mention that we do a submission process for a particular reason. When you don't have a process around it, you get everything under the sun.
Yeah, I agree.
And I make it a point, my team and I make it a point to listen to everything. So good. It's good, but if there's a lot of stuff that are not appropriate, then this helps us weed it out and to put our energy and our time and to make sure every single artist gets considered fully. Like, I look at every video, I listen to every artist, I look at their social media, I look at everything. So guys, clean up your stuff is all I got to say.
It better be on point and current.
I mean, don't give me a video for 10 years ago. That's not gonna do it for me.
Well, that's what I was teaching in NAMM. I did an EPK workshop, and it's like the stuff has to be current.
Absolutely.
It has to be current. So okay, good. All right. So what other organizations? They could be music or non-music, doesn't matter. Do you feel are doing a really good job in embracing women in DNI just in general?
Oh gosh, there are so many different Instagram groups. I don't know a lot of other women festivals doing what I'm doing. I think so far I'm pretty much the only one in the country doing and this is a free festival, by the way.
Yeah, which is amazing. So really, for the audience.
Well, you understand this, Jasmine, because it happens because we get sponsorship.
Right. Again.
And our presenting sponsor is Chase. So there's a lot of smaller festivals that happen here, there, and everywhere. There's a lot of women in music. I follow a lot of Instagram groups, Female Quotient, Girls Behind the Rock Show. I follow a lot of these other that are embracing women and supporting women and getting the word out there of what they're doing. So, I mean, there's lots and lots of smaller groups out there, and everybody deserves a listen. Everybody deserves some support and recognition of what they're doing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we have an alliance partner program that we just recently kicked off for that purpose. It's it's supporting other smaller women's organizations and helping them because, it's very hard to do it alone, or even if you have a small group, there's a power in that community, right?
There is. And so I should mention also, one of the groups that we align with and work with is Sound Girls. And you may know them from NAMM. They're headquartered
from NAMM,
NAMM, yeah. So they have a chapter in Philadelphia.
Oh.
And Barbara Adams runs that. And so we reach out to them. And so a lot of our texts for our festival come from Sound Girls. So we try and bring in as many female audio people as we possibly can as well.
That's wonderful.
So Sound Girls is great, also great.
I always say there needs to be more female producers, audio engineers, tech people. Yeah.
Yeah. Female Quotient is doing that, I think, a lot of, and I'm just trying to think of some of the other groups, but it'll come to me. But a lot of them are on Instagram.
Yeah. What do you think it'll take to drive like real change in women's professional development? Speaking of women in tech, like what do you think? What have you seen in your experience? Whether it's support, organizations, education.
All of the above. I think what you're doing is really important and instrumental.
Thanks.
I think the more that women know that there are other women doing what they're doing or in leadership roles that can mentor, that there's an organization that we just aligned with called Key Change, and that's located in the UK, and that's about gender inclusivity. And they're also doing a professional development workshop as well. And I think that's kicking off next year, if I'm not mistaken. But finding organizations like that where women are looking to help other women succeed. Because, when I look at that and I say more success is more success for everyone.
Absolutely.
The better you are is the better I'm going to be. The more money you make is the more money I'll make. And, that's part of, everybody's in it to make some money. So it's not to be threatened with, it's to be embraced.
Yeah.
And I think the more we can set up organizations where we mentor each other, that we have a safe space to talk about, hey, this happened to me. I wasn't sure what to do. How do you think I should handle this? Any of that. I think having those opportunities for conversation are really important and very, very kind of one-on-one.
Yeah, one-on-one. Well, yeah, I think that's really important. I think that's the purpose of why I started Women in Business, honestly.
Yeah.
Is to bring in women that have kind of been there, done that, to help each other.
Right.
People always forget that. They always think, oh, well, this person should be a mentor because they're a leader. And it's like, yeah, but we also need support. So we also need support. So bringing them together to help each other and then providing mentorship. And that's like the holistic way of looking at it. It's not easy, but that's the intention.
And the more we educate women of, how, the more we educate them, the more we show them the opportunities, the more we show them that women can do it.
Yeah.
The more people are going to be wanting to embrace it and be part of this community. And it's a collaborative effort. We are better together. And it is still a male-dominated industry. It's not changed. There are some, powerful women in it for sure. I'm not saying, it's not completely.
Yeah, there are definitely powerful women.
But
in it.
When you look at concert, festival lineups and you see that, less than, 35% of the lineup are women. Come on. It has to change, because if I can put together 30 some odd women to come together for a festival, anybody can do a full festival with women, or at least hit that 50% mark.
There's so much female music talent as a musician myself. It's ridiculous. It's insane, actually.
Yes.
And the fact that it hasn't been highlighted enough, I don't get it. But I guess it's because of, like you said, if it's more male dominated, it's kind of what the normal process is, I would assume.
Well, and I think we also don't really encourage the younger women who are starting out to understand that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint, and that and you don't have to. You're not Britney Spears. You're not Taylor Swift. They worked hard to get where they are. Taylor Swift in particular. Of course, they all. Yeah. And it didn't happen overnight, and so. Coming out and having an identifiable sound. I could talk for hours on this subject.
I know.
But encouraging young women that find your space, find your voice, create something that's special. Don't just sing somebody else's songs, because if that's all you do, to backing tracks, you're a dime a dozen. You're not going to get, you may play at weddings, but you're not going to be on my festival.
No. I'm all about original music, Gayle. So as a creator myself, and it's refreshing to hear original music.
Oh,
refreshing and interesting, and makes you think. And cover bands are great. They're great, and it's good. It's like you said, wedding music or whatever. Yeah. But if you really want to create something, that's what we're here for.
Well,
creation.
and we need to have people come out to listen to that music then. So,
That's right.
I'm doing this free festival, and I'm like, come out, listen, and support, because every vendor, every venue that I have, every vendor that shows up, the food trucks, the bar, every musician is a small business.
That's
And
right.
all of that leads into really supporting and nurturing our creative economy. And that drives everything else in this country. So, in the world.
Absolutely. Gail for president. That would make me
Oh
happy.
God.
To have a
Never.
creative thinking president would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, could you imagine such a thing? I mean, goodness, I would,
No,
yeah.
I always say, oh, can we just go back to the Renaissance days?
Yeah.
Where art was really valued, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
it's valued now. I mean, there's a whole thing on it, obviously, but it's valued in a different way. So it's yeah.
Well, the connection needs to be made between, the more you support a creative economy, the more every other pieces of the economy are also supported. I
Hmm.
mean, this comes down to dollars and cents,
Yep.
art, entertainment, music, all of this, feeds into the overall health of our economy.
Yeah.
And this is so important. So when you go to a festival and you listen, you buy a ticket. Now, obviously there's big companies that are behind all that, and that's a
Yeah.
whole different story.
Oh, yeah.
But something like what I'm doing, we curate it from the ground up. We build it every year from the bottom up. There's a lot of people who are, this makes a difference in their overall business health, is to come out to this festival. All the businesses on Market Street in Wilmington will, even though they're not part of the festival, will feel the bump up from people coming in, wanting to see music and buy some food, have a drink, buy a t-shirt, buy whatever, a candle. It's all part of it. It's all entwined. And when we recognize that, then it's not so bad. Oh, maybe I will go buy that, CD or that t-shirt from that artist.
Yeah, so I've been involved with many music festivals, particularly the the one in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which is one of my favorites,
Yes.
the Steel Stacks, and
Yes. Yes.
I've seen that grow over the
Yes.
years,
That's
and
huge.
my point of that festival in particular is because I've seen the businesses and small businesses in the community really grow around that and sustain that community. Sustain that community. And this is what people forget, is like these things are so important to sustain our local communities. They're just like instrumental.
It's huge. I mean, when, for my festivals, we hire a production company, they build the stages, all the stages.
Yeah.
We have techs, we have stage managers, we have people selling our merch. I buy merch from people. I buy t-shirts to sell. The residual effect is tremendous.
Absolutely.
Tremendous. So
yeah,
it's a good thing. Go to your local festival.
Go to your local festival. Also, if we talk about career development, that then becomes an opportunity for women, if they're not even a musician, right? And like they can become a vendor and support the women in the industry. It's women helping women. It's not just you need to be a female musician. That's why with this episode, I sent it out to everybody. You don't have to be a musician.
No,
you can be a woman that just wants to enjoy. Oh, okay. But you're a great listener of music. It sounds like
I'm a creative.
Yeah.
I love music. I'm a creative brain. I'm an entrepreneur, and I put them together in that way. But I'm not actually, I play piano, but that's badly, and it hasn't been for a long time. And I cannot sing. I can promise you that. So I don't have those skills, but what I can do is I can put together a lineup. And I have a team that works with me. I can put together a music event that makes sense for someone, because I can see it and I can hear it. And that's my skills, and those are my gifts. But I'm like, let me share it with the world. I'm not territorial in any way, shape, or form. It's like I discovered this in myself, and I'm happy to share it and help someone else find it as well.
Yeah. Don't you agree the best thing is when you help people and you're just doing what you're supposed to do. It's not arduous because it's what you're meant to do.
I just had this conversation with someone earlier today about, sometimes I think I'm supposed to be just kind of inspiring people along the way to take a chance, because I'm a story of reinvention and recreation of my life several times over. not just once or twice. I feel like I'm a little bit of a cat there, but in a good way. And teaching people that you can do that, and it's scary, and it doesn't always Life hardly works out the way you think it's going to work out. Hardly.
Nothing truer has been said, Gail.
No, right? Right?
Yeah.
The things we get taught at 16 versus, down, it's just like, oh, who thought of that?
Yeah, who thought of that? This doesn't even happen in grad school, unfortunately. No.
Right, right, right.
Okay, I have a few more questions here. So, what women inspire you and why?
You know, I I think I get asked that question a lot. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of women that have really inspired me along the way. I know one of them is kind of controversial, but I really love Jane Fonda. I'm just going to say that. I've loved
I
her
like Jane Fonda.
activism. I've
Yeah.
loved a lot of things about her. But what really inspires me are some of the just the everyday people, everyday people. Like for instance, yesterday I had a woman on I was on a radio show, and
Oh,
she talked about her name is Susanna Laird, and she talked about her journey to, she's in her late 40s, she has 4 kids, and she just started to embrace a music career.
mm,
She's gone through cancer, she is married, she has
wow.
all this, and I'm looking at her and she's writing this beautiful music. I'm going like, you go girl,
Yeah.
that's amazing to me.
Hmm.
That inspires me at a
Mm.
very, very deep level, to say that I'm now offering her an opportunity to be on a stage that, would have, maybe she could have got, would have gotten to at some point, but I'm giving her that opportunity now. And so people like her and all the individual women inspire me, because they take the chance to go out there and show the world their stuff. So it's just the everyday stuff for me, more so than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. You come across people, they inspire you, and
Yeah,
they might not even think that they're that inspirational, but they are.
but they are. But they
Yeah,
are.
I agree. What does the term warrior women mean to you? When I asked you to be on the podcast, what did you think?
I thought, get my shield out and go
Yeah,
out.
I love
you know,
it.
warrior women, it has a very kind of Viking feel to it, when
Yeah,
you
of
talk about
course.
warrior women. And it elicits an image of strong women, of women who are not necessarily, and this is where, you and I are touching on, not working alone. We're working as a team. Warriors, very few warriors are individual. They're usually part of a larger group. And so warrior women to me is part of strong women coming together, defending each other,
Yeah.
or encouraging each other, and moving forward.
Yeah.
So
That's what the poster is behind me.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Fly beyond. I mean, that's
yeah,
really what it's about. It's not Superman, it's a warrior woman. And it is about, it is about that. It is about that. And I really love that you talk about that, not just because you talked about warrior women, but because it is about supporting each other and defending each other. I think it's such a
yes,
important piece that women sometimes forget, that we need to, it's not just about like, oh, the cliche of lifting someone up. It's so cliche. And the Me Too and all these cliches that I personally don't like. It's
yeah.
really about defending someone, taking action when they need the help.
It's reaching out, it's a hand, and it's not being threatened by it. Again,
Yeah.
your success is my success,
Yeah.
and there's plenty of success to go around for everyone.
Yeah.
So again, we're stronger together. If we take those, we don't have to resort to what we used to think would work, which really didn't work anyway. But to be together, to work together,
Yeah.
to lift each other up. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. Okay, just a couple more questions.
sure thing.
Okay, so I'd like, if you could, do you have an example in your work history, whether it's with Ladybug or previously, of where you had to do that, where you came into a situation where whether it was for yourself or another woman, where you saw something that wasn't so good that was happening because of some type of prejudice around women, where you had to help out? It could be an organization, it could be something that happened to you along the way, and how you prevailed in that situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of different situations that have come up in the course of my life, and certainly as a professional woman as well. Even with my own stuff, I have people who work for me, and I've made it a point to try and be a mentor to them.
Yeah.
and to work with them on saying, okay, I understand your perspective and your the way you want to approach something, but let me give you something else to consider. Let me give you a different way of perhaps approaching this problem, and understanding that in this world, especially of music and event planning and things like that, there's any number of ways to get where you want to go. So personally, I've had that situation just in my own business, for sure. My own daughter, she's a video editor with Condé Nast in New York. She
Nice.
does really well, but she's come into some situations in her since starting in the business world, and it's like, well, how do I deal with this? How do I ask for more money?
Yeah.
How do I?
That's a big one.
Okay, that's a big one.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Okay, so there should be a class in college on that one.
Oh, I agree with you.
So
Yeah.
I've worked with her a lot on helping her find her words, not my words, but her words to, how to be a more professional person, how to get what you want and get where you're going to. So, there's lots of everyday moments where, and I know I've reached out, but I kind of walk the walk and live it. I'm the example. I run my business. Keep myself at a certain level. This is how I work. And I want to show people that you can work at a high level. You don't have to give into a lot of garbage.
Yeah.
You can run good, clean businesses and, have a good reputation. So I do it for myself. I prove to myself every day I can do it. And at the end of the day, I can sleep.
Yeah, but it's about being that example, and I'm sure you're just intuitively or through experience doing things and showing people and being a mentor without even saying anything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid. The other thing, but I'm not afraid if I see something that's really off kilter or I think really harmful. I find a way of, starting conversations with, trying to be very positive. Like, you are great you're really doing well with this. I want to suggest something to you, and
right,
diffusing it so that the words can be heard.
So they listen.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's absolutely important. Understanding how to speak to them is a big thing, and that's your experience, right?
Yes, and everybody needs a slightly different twist on things.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I only have like one other, I guess, important question for you, because this is a shorter format today. So yeah, so just wondering, you mentioned June 2nd, right?
Yes.
And then it's in Delaware, right? Did we mention that?
Yeah, It is in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay. And then after that, what's the next festival and what's the website, just so that people know?
It's the ladybugfestival.com, or you could always go to gablemusicventures.com and it'll link you over to Ladybug. So we're doing this June 2nd from 5 to 10 o'clock on Market Street in Wilmington. We have a happy hour starting at 4 o'clock with a DJ Shady Lady. She's awesome.
Oh, I love it.
And we have Adia Victoria, and if you haven't listened to her, she is rocking it and just amazing. So she's our headliner this year, and I'm so excited to meet her and to listen to her music live. So you can go to my website and get all information. After this, we roll into planning for Milford Ladybug, which is in September. And while we're doing all that, we've got other projects that we're working on as well. So, stay tuned.
Wonderful. So anybody that's listening is probably a music lover. So if you're anywhere near Delaware, which would be New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, even New York, yeah.
We're actually,
I'm sure people could probably come in from everywhere because it's an important festival for women.
Well, thank you. We're right on Amtrak. So we're on the Amtrak line. Wilmington, Delaware, the home of Joe Biden, whether you like him or not. This is where he comes from.
That is true. I didn't mention that on the podcast because I'm not political.
Yeah.
So,
and Philadelphia is just, half an hour away from here. Baltimore is about a little over an hour, 15 minutes. So we're kind of really in the middle of everything. Delaware is in a really great spot to have a lot of fun music events, and we do.
And it's a beautiful, you didn't mention how beautiful Delaware is.
It is pretty.
It is gorgeous. So you could go and spend the weekend and do what I do when I go there, which is hiking or going on the water. It's such a nice getaway.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And we're very close to a lot of things here. So it's a great location. So,
Yeah.
yep, Gable Music Ventures or ladybugfestival.com.
June
Come
2nd,
find
which
us.
is next weekend.
Okay, yes.
It's
Yeah,
next
it's all
weekend.
good.
It's all
Yep,
good. Okay,
it's all good.
so I have a couple of other things to mention, but I want to thank you, Gail, for being
Thank you.
on. It's been very refreshing and exciting. I love talking to fellow female leaders
Thank you.
who really support the need for female collaboration. Women like you are tremendous that are willing to be mentors to other women. This is what we need. These are the warrior women that we need. So I want to thank you for being on. I have a few things to mention. So you mentioned the shield, which if you can see, we're very much about the shield at Warrior Women. We have a whole line of Warrior Women clothing. We have a fashion brand, which is casual, going to couture in 2024. And so we have a shop on the Warrior Women business website. 10% of all our proceeds go to women in disabilities and women in music. So you can find out more on that on the Warrior Women site. A couple things that I want to mention is for female artists that need to understand how to build their brands and how to protect them. I have JSM for artists and Warrior Women in Business have a course on Udemy, Artist Branding for Business, that really takes you through everything. Branding, monetization, protection. And I was lucky enough to have some pretty kind of big wigs in the music industry contribute to that. So that's something that you can check out. Our next podcasts are being announced on the Warrior Women Business website. There you can find all the former podcasts, information about the upcoming podcast. We're moving forward to every Wednesday at noon Eastern, and for our West Coast friends, 9 a.m. So that being said, I'm going to sign off now from Warrior Women in Business episode 39 with Gayle Dillman. Please, everyone, go to Delaware June 2nd for the LadyBug Music Festival. Yes, it's going to be tremendous, tremendous. And if you can't make that one, there's other ones. So go to the website, sign up for the newsletter, find out about it. If you're an artist like me or you have a band, submit. It's a great organization. I'm very happy to have found you.
Thank you. Me
You're
too.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so from Warrior Women in Business, signing off episode 39.